News Parade takes you to Cochin, an Indian state on the west coast of South India, noted for its natural beauty and the color and pageantry of its life. Cochin's forests are famous. In this region of heavy rainfall and humid atmosphere, large quantities of valuable teak, rosewood and ebony are found. Forest tramways, both for lumber and passenger transport, carry the produce of the forest to the marketing centers. This is the only tramway of its kind in India, a marvel of engineering. Elephants, bison, tigers, cheetahs, leopards, wild boar, and what have you. They're all found in these forests. Elephants are one of Cochin's attractions, and it's natural for the baby, yes, he's a baby, to wonder whether he is to be trained for wood hauling or for ceremonial purposes. These babies have just been caught in the jungle. The more fortunate elephants take part in all kinds of games, and what's more, they have to dress for the occasion. Perhaps the London Zoo, which has been scouring the world for elephants, might turn its attention to Cochin. On second thoughts, it might be as well if the whole idea were shelved for the moment. An elephant would need a lot of shipping space, and elephants aren't exactly consumer goods. From the forested hills, we go down the palm-fringed rivers of Cochin into the gradually widening valleys. From these coconut trees, Cochin derives much of its wealth. On the banks live the people, their homes and farmsteads built along the riverside. The waterways provide a cheap means of communication and are connected with numbers of lagoons navigable for all sizes of country craft. Quite a few industries flourish under these beautiful coconut palms. As the river widens, larger craft make their appearance. Others are anchored near the sandbanks. And so we come to the picturesque coast of Cochin itself. Here, the rich produce of the interior, valuable wood, and the products of the palm tree are collected for export to other lands. Here also, under the shadow of the swaying palms, the skilled fishermen of Cochin are at work. Fishing in Cochin is a monopoly of castes like the Valan and the Aryan, and the fishermen use the Chinese type of fishing net. These somewhat primitive methods are most effective, and fishing in Cochin is naturally an important industry. It would be difficult to find more congenial surroundings for work. And so, as the sun goes down over the horizon, many a visitor to Cochin must wonder whether this is another world. For here, nature reigns supreme, and life can be very pleasant.
Today it is privileged to present these exclusive pictures, unique in newsreel history, of the consecration of a bishop in a Roman Catholic church. St. Peter's, Bangra, a few miles outside Bombay, is packed to capacity as a procession of over 200 priests enter to attend this memorable ceremony. The Right Reverend Walerian Gracius is the bishop-elect, another Indian link in the unbroken chain of Catholic bishops all over the world, across the centuries, from the time of the first apostle, St. Peter. The consecration ceremony was performed by His Grace, the Archbishop of Bombay, Dr. Thomas Roberts, attended by their lordships, the bishops of Mangalore and Bangalore, as co-consecrators. The ceremony of consecration of the bishop has been described as one of the most splendid and impressive known to the church, and as the last to take place in Bombay was in 1907, nearly 40 years ago, the majority of the 3,000 people present were witnessing the ceremony for the first time. The bishop-elect is presented to the Archbishop by the co-consecrators, and after the papal brief is read, the interrogation follows. Wilt thou, questions His Grace, both by word and by example, teach the flock for whom thou art to be ordained? And so, question after question on the soundness of his doctrine and his willingness to serve his people. For the bishop's office is not lightly imposed on men, but only on those able and willing to follow the example of Jesus Christ, whose authority they are about to receive. After the celebration of the Holy Mass, which constitutes the Catholic's most important act of worship, the entire congregation prays while the bishop-elect lies prostrate before the altar, that God may bless, sanctify, and consecrate his servant. After the litanies have been read, the book of the Holy Gospels is placed inverted on the shoulders of the bishop-elect as a symbol of his duty to preach the faith to his flock. With this holy burden, he receives the plenitude of the priesthood in what is undoubtedly the most essential part of the ceremony. One by one, the consecrating prelates place their hands on the head of the bishop-elect with supplications for the conferment of priestly grace and the almighty benediction. After a sermon by the Bishop of Bangalore, gifts are offered to the new bishop. This is a relic of ancient custom when 2 lighted torches, 2 loaves of bread, and 2 barrels of wine are presented. Finally, the enthronement. The new bishop's mitre is blessed and solemnly set on his head as the helmet of defense and salvation. New gloves are also blessed and drawn on his hands, and the bishop's ring is once more placed on his finger. And so the impressive ceremony draws to a close, with Bishop Gracius being conducted to his throne. A son of India, born and matured in the Archdiocese of Bombay, he joins the rank of the 2,000 Catholic bishops throughout the world. The final rite is the presentation of the pastoral staff, and he is now invested with the consecrating powers of the first apostles of Christ. As Bombay's first Indian bishop, he has been given to his own people,